Hi, hello, welcome back. My name's Devraj. I want to talk today about embodiment because embodiment is an excellent word, and I'm really happy that it's increasingly becoming a big buzzword in today's culture. It's kind of emerging somehow into our consciousness. What is this word? And it suddenly starts to represent and have much more excitement attached to it than it did, say, a decade ago. And something that I'm becoming aware of is that more and more people are writing books about embodiment. Guys like Mark Walsh or Jeff Brown, you probably heard of them, cool guys, are writing different books about, grounded spirituality, embodiment practices, these kinds of things. And so, running a big YouTube channel and having a lot of subscribers and interacting with people a lot, I'm often asked questions like, have you read this book? Have you read Jeff Brown? Have you read that? What do you think about it? Have you read this one? And it's like the books describe techniques mostly that you can use, but often there's not. When I look at books or articles on embodiment, there's fundamentally something missing, is that they don't tell you what embodiment basically is. And all embodiment means is that your consciousness comes back into your body. It means that you can feel your body more. It's not complicated stuff. We were in a similar situation like 10, 15 years ago with mindfulness, when this guy in America, John Kabat-Zinn, began to write about mindfulness and giving it a clinical context, like for treating stress or for treating chronic pain and this kind of thing. Suddenly everybody in the kind of book world of therapy or clinicians or New Age all jumped on mindfulness. And of course, you need to write tons of stuff about it and come up with loads of concepts. But mindfulness also, like embodiment, is an incredibly simplistic concept. It means being aware of what is around you. Simply being aware, paying attention to it. And embodiment is just mindfulness of the body. That's all it really means. It means being aware of your body, and it implies the word embodiment, that you're bringing more awareness back into your body. And this is a very important concept in today's age because, even as early as like the second trimester of pregnancy, when you're still inside your mama, as your autonomic nervous system is developing as a fetus, if it doesn't feel quite safe, it will direct your awareness out of the body. Even before you were born, if there's a feeling of unsafety there, we can become disembodied, dissociated. And once that kind of safety strategy is set up, at that age, it will probably continue throughout our lives. Whenever we have a slight feeling of unsafety, which may be registered subliminally, not in our conscious awareness, all we know is that, whoa, suddenly we're just back in this abstract world of thinking and being somewhat disembodied. So embodiment is a really useful concept, but it is very, very simple. And, it's good not to make it too complicated, because otherwise, you just get lost in all of this stuff, and it actually, thinking about embodiment and reading all these books about embodiment starts to disembody you more, which is obviously somewhat counterproductive. The bottom line is to feel your body more. And techniques are useful, but they need to be understood for what they are. Because any technique, whether it's bioenergetics, whether you want to do yoga, whether you're screaming and shouting, whether you're following Wim Hof, or whatever it is, those are techniques. Now, they may be techniques that are just giving you a kind of dopamine hit or something like this, or your testosterone comes up or whatever, and you feel really, really great for a while and empowered, and that's all okay. But that is not necessarily embodying you more. So it's good to get a little bit clear here. You can follow all sorts of techniques, but they don't necessarily lead to embodiment. Embodiment means progressively moving more awareness back into your body so that you can feel your body more. So before you get involved in techniques, you need to really ask yourself, is my intention to be more embodied? Is my intention that? Or do I want to hit? Do I want to get my energy moving and be good at things? And that's totally cool, but it's just really useful to make a bit of a distinction here. Now, why bioenergetics and Reichian work is so appropriate for embodiment is because they were designed for this. They were designed for this. What actually blocks embodiment, because say that you are someone, for example, who is quite dissociated, who maybe that started early on, maybe in the womb, slight subliminal triggers in our environment and we're out of here. Say you're like that, then what happens over time is that the muscles form a certain characteristic shape associated with keeping your awareness up here. You get patterns of tension, holding patterns, dead zones, all sorts of different areas. You know, your body, if it's extreme, your body may form the classic Reichian schizoid or dissociative dreamer personality. You know, your shoulders could be a bit artificially raised, like you're a little bit in fear. You could have a kind of angular appearance, you know, where the energy flow through your joints in particular, you're aware it's not very good, you know, and it's giving you this slightly puppet-like, disembodied kind of sense to you, you know. So that's kind of an extreme case, and what you have to do is you need to slowly bring the awareness back in. It has to be quite a gentle process, and just charging into techniques is not necessarily going to be so useful. So one big part of embodiment is to open up specific muscle groups where there is holding and allow the awareness to start to come back in. And the way I like to do this is by triggering your body's own healing processes. Because we come from primates, we come from mammals. Now they might not be so good at thinking and they probably couldn't write no books on embodiment, but the fact is they don't really need to, because an animal is breathing into its belly, with its belly, it's using its belly to breathe. And this, when you start to do this, triggers natural healing processes within your body. The bottom line is we need more awareness in our belly, and when we've got more feeling down here, then this whole kind of primate power center starts to connect everything up inside our body. And from that, you know, natural cathartic healing processes start to occur. When you look, say, at the work of Wilhelm Reich back in the 20s and 30s, in Vienna and then later in America, you know, he'd have his clients, his patients lie down on the mat or on a massage table, and he would prod them and poke them in certain areas, you know, working on the layers of armoring, the rings of armoring around their body. And this kind of promotes spontaneous release. He's triggering the body to heal itself. He's going into the primate, mammalian side of us. He's not asking the mind to read a lot of books on embodiment and trying to act more embodied or do all these different techniques. It's important to understand this stuff. And along with, you know, releasing holding patterns, along with reoccupying the kind of dead zones where our awareness has left certain muscles or area of our fascia, there also comes opening up bodily centers where typically we have compressed and closed because of the cultural influences upon us. You know, the throat center in most people is tight. It's held here, and we breathe by sucking air in at the throat, you know. The heart center is blocked. The heart center is blocked. We don't have access to deeper feelings. You know, we're afraid to be vulnerable. And the heart center actually closes from behind the shoulder, from between the shoulder blades. From there, tension there, when you work that area, it starts to open the heart center up. The chest can start to open, so we don't feel like we need to kind of keep ourselves in this, you know, protected space, bringing our shoulders in, closing off. And finally, the belly, as I've mentioned, you know, is super, super important. This is really overlooked massively in Western culture, even in Western cultural therapy scenes, even in Western body-based therapy scenes. The belly is hugely important. If you can bring more awareness into your belly, you're actually not going to have to read no books about embodiment or even think about it at all. It's going to start to manifest naturally. And that's why I focus so much on bioenergetics, particularly the belly, and nowadays Reichian breathing techniques and Reichian therapy, because they all work these natural mammalian circuits and they don't rely on you having to think your way through. Okay, so I just wanted to chat a little bit about embodiment, you know, and do be careful if you're getting lost in concepts, you're reading this book, you're reading that book, but are you spending time actually practicing embodiment, you know? Can you feel your body more than you could? Can you occupy your belly? Can you occupy your heart? Can you occupy your throat? You know, can you get it clear? And can you occupy your mind in a clear way? Cool. Thank you for tuning in. Do check out Bioenergetics The Journey, 52-week course, which will really start to embody you. And it is a challenging, powerful journey. I'm actually planning to do some shorter ones soon for those of you who want more of an introduction. But check that out. Check out my books. And all good. I will speak to you soon. Thank you.